Hey guys, what's up? It's Matt with 86. This is the Starfavor KA-500. It is a stereo receiver that they put out onto the market, and I'll try to be as quick as possible. You know, first and foremost about this, I just want to say this is a stereo 2.0 receiver. It's not looking to replace your Marantz or your Denon or your Onkyo or anything like that. It is a pretty basic entry-level receiver, so if that's what you're looking for, then this video might be for you. And we're going to cover just the basics about it. A lot to unpack here, so let's go through it, and I'll start right now. Now, I've been using Starfavor passive speakers for a while, notably ill-paired with my Sony STR-DH190. The STR-DH190 is a fantastic lower-end receiver, just maybe not the best match for my 4-ohm speakers. So let's start by going over the back, the haves and have-nots of this receiver. On the back left, we have a 1/4-inch mic input, and next to this is a terminal for AM/FM radio antenna, which is included with it. Below this are 3 RCA inputs, CD, DVD, and auxiliary. These are all for your line-level external devices. Notably missing here, though, is a phono input. There's no built-in phono preamp, so there's no built-in phono input. This would be great for things like, phono turntables. Using a phono preamp, though, any of the other 3 inputs on the line level will work out fine. In this case, I'm going to be using a Fozzybox X2. Now, just to the right of this in the center back is a signal terminal. This terminal has twin 50-watt peak signal outputs, 100 watts total. And to the right of that terminal is the primary 100-watt peak per channel banana plug capable terminal for 2 speakers on A and 2 speakers on B. An added awesome feature is the unswitched power source for connecting things like the turntable direct to the receiver or the preamp's DC power direct to the receiver. As long as the receiver has power, so do the devices plugged in here. The most notably missing things that I wish were there, though, still, that phono input would have been nice. And a ground line screw. I'd love to have seen a ground line screw here so that I could ground the phono preamp to the receiver. And you can still ground it by using a chassis screw on metal. That'll work out fine. According to Starfavor, it's a receiver capable of driving 4-ohm speakers in the 80s for RMS and peak at 100 watts per channel. Over the AB speaker channels, that is. That center signal one is just 50 watt peak. So let's move around to the front. It's a bit of a busy feeling receiver with multiple knobs and buttons. I'm a fan of multi-function buttons, which often look a lot cleaner on the more modern Denons, Onkyo, Sony, Yamaha receivers, you name it. I like those a lot better for how clean they look, and there's a lot less busy of a feel with that. This doesn't look terrible, it just looks a little busy. The left knob is your channel select. You can have either A or B, or both. The power button is located just below this knob, and just below the power button is the very bottom knob row. The 3 on the left are all for mic controls, so if you're interested in setting this up for something like karaoke or to be heard over if you run a trivia night or something, you have gain for mics 1 and 2 here, as well as an echo to modify the output profile of the microphone. The 4 knobs on the right are knobs to manipulate your lows, your mids, and your highs, as well as to balance between the speaker output left and right. The smaller buttons above that are fairly straightforward. I don't think I need to explain to y'all how play, pause, skip, and all that works, so we'll skip over that, but that's them right there, with the far left one being the most important, as it is your input selector if you're going to walk up to the device and change whether you're on CD, DVD, or aux. The far right large knob is the master volume control, and just below that are 2 1/4-inch inputs. One is for another mic, and one is for headphones. You are capable of connecting devices via Bluetooth, and it utilizes Bluetooth 5. You can play all your digital media this way by connecting to it, and it works out pretty well. Alright, now that we got through all that, let's hook up some stuff and see if we get a fairly quiet, clean signal operation from it. I'll be playing some of my favorite samples from Liquid on a personally cut 180 gram polycarbonate printer vinyl. It's a lathe cut vinyl, and you're lad on a pressed record for this demo. The vinyls will be played over my Fluence RT82 on phono, running through the preamp to the receiver. Processed and colored through the Fozzy Phono preamp buffer out of my 4-ohm Starfavor speakers. When using sensitive speakers, low volume output creates kind of a rattly, low quality audio experience. I find it reaches the best level of enjoyment at around 25% and above. I don't want to call that low volume, high sensitivity issue normal, because it's really not, or tell you that it's something you should expect, because you really shouldn't have to expect something like that. But it does exist here for now, and you may need to be prepared to expect that, depending on your speakers. Starfavor is aware of this, and according to the person I was talking to, this is something that they're aiming to correct moving forward so that the experience can best be enjoyed on every volume volume level. Let's cover the remote real quick. The remote is a basic, straightforward device, best for swapping inputs quickly, adjusting volume, and changing modes. There isn't much to it other than an added convenience, really. Starfavor receiver ticks some boxes for me, but leaves me wanting a bit more. I'd like a cleaner, more professional flat look personally, and an added ability to ground a media device like a turntable or a phono preamp. You can use a metal chassis as I mentioned earlier, but I'd rather an actual ground line screw to be implemented on the back of this. It has a lot of setup features and step it up features that just wasn't really expecting. Unswitched power inputs on the back, banana plug capabilities, basic feature controls that I crave. When I turn the volume knob, I'd like a visual representation. Maybe I've been spoiled by other receivers, but I'd like to see a visual representation of a volume setting on the LCD screen. Every time you turn the device off and then turn it back on, it's going to default back to its first setting, which is going to be CD, and it's not going to remember settings that you have done to it, so that might be something to be mindful of too. I'd like to see one that can, like the Sony one I have, remember what it was last told to be on when you turn it off and then turn it back on. I hope this was somewhat helpful and useful to you guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. I do have a great day, night, whatever it is.